In the distance, I see a shining light. In the sky, I met the maker. When we survive this lovely life, what will begin to make it end? When we survive this lovely life.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack tonight. On my right, Adam Markham. On my left, Bobby Reynolds. Gentlemen, how are we this evening?
Doing very well, Josh. How are you, Mr. Bobby?
Hey.
I love the glasses, like pushed up the face or down the nose, Bobo.
Yeah.
You are nothing if not versatile with those glasses.
That's probably too early in life to be doing that. I can't do that. I'm 35. I need to stop.
You need to get you the ones that, like, you can take apart and they have the little, lanyard or whatever it is.
The frat strap, but it's for the snap-apart glasses.
For, like, lining up my putt.
And they need to transition. You need to go full Urban Meyer transition lenses that snap apart with a lanyard.
Urban did that?
Urban has transition lenses on the, Fox set. So you can always tell.
He's working again.
Yeah, we had this conversation. Fox hired him back. He's on the set. He's doing the Saturday morning pregame show for Fox.
Wow, terrible decision.
All right.
Still maybe one of the best names to ever come out of the pod.
Suburban Meyer. It's a good one, Bose.
Still good.
Hey, Halloween. Spooky season is drawing to a close. We're going to be doing a little trick-or-treating here this heck, we might be...
Halloween pod next week?
No, we got the Sig pod next week.
Ooh,
Our next collab with the great Sigmund Bloom will be next Tuesday. So we get to enjoy trick-or-treating with the fam.
Aww.
I know you're disappointed. Get to spend time with the family. But before that, boys, just so happened to tie into a big piece of news that broke in the NFL world with Matt Ryan getting benched and Sam Ehlinger, QB1 for the Colts moving forward. Your boy's going to be at that game on Sunday.
Wow, who is it? Colts who?
It's Colts Commanders. It was supposed to be Matt Ryan playing against Carson Wentz in his revenge game, and now we get Ehlinger versus Heineke. It's going to be a sloppy, weird game. I think I predicted 19-13. Maybe the Colts win. Maybe they don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. That's going to be God bless you for doing that, Josh.
I'm excited. Hey, I've been calling for Ehlinger for weeks now. I mean, Matt Ryan, I don't think there's a world in which Ehlinger is a downgrade over what we've seen from Matt Ryan.
It's time.
It's time.
I fully expected Connie to be in here when I got here, so
yeah.
Congratulations to y'all for moving on as a
I was afraid
organization.
Reich was not going to have the stones to actually do it.
Yeah.
Because it needed to be done.
When was your tweet that you retweeted? Back September?
September 26th,
what
I think
week
it was.
that?
Probably after week 3.
Yeah, you knew then.
Yeah, you could just tell. I mean, this guy's washed up. It happens. It happens to all the greats. I mean, he just noodle arm, no mobility, leading the league in sacks, interceptions, and fumbles.
Ehlinger's going to have a rough way of it, though. That y'all's O-line is pretty rough.
He reminds me a lot of Zappy, honestly. He's got a little more mobility, but
Zappy just threw a pick. So
I think he'll do I think he'll do a little bit better behind this offensive line. And I know we haven't done Matt Ryan any favors, but he hasn't returned the favor either.
What does Matt Ryan do after this? He retire?
I think so.
Yeah.
Even though Ballard, they resurfaced the quotes of this is a 2-year thing. We did the contract thing because we wanted him to know this is a 2-year window that we see with him.
So he'll be around next year?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll just cut him or just eat the money.
Do y'all feel like the NFL is just chaos right now?
It's utter chaos, boys. It is one of the wackiest, weirdest seasons I can remember. Nobody's good. There's 3 good teams.
Everybody's hurt.
Everybody's hurt.
Quarterbacks are bad.
Yep. Rodgers and Brady look terrible.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith is
one of the best.
Yeah.
Sure.
Top 5 quarterback this season so far.
The Giants are 6-1.
Yeah, both New York teams are playing really well. Jets are getting decimated with injuries, though. It's
James Robinson gets
one of those tough situations. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's just a weird time, boys.
Wow. Justin Herbert's not going to have anyone to throw to. Keenan said he had no burst in the second half, so that's why they set him off that hamstring. And then Mike Williams goes down to an ankle. Josh Palmer's got a concussion. Jalen Guyton's out for the season.
DeAndre Carter season.
Yeah.
Finally upon us.
Austin Eckler going to have 28 catches on 38 targets.
Genuinely, man, it's a weird year.
It's a weird year.
A lot of injuries this week.
Yeah, and then Bailey Zapp.
Yeah.
Zapp season. I love seeing the whole country catch the fever
Well,
that Western Kentucky fans have.
Y'all need to temper your expectations. This second half has not gone so
and it's
great.
the Bears, and that's what's concerning. Is he had some nice throws, but
this game's over.
Yeah, the Bloom might be off the roads a little bit.
The other thing is the Patriots' defense is pretty bad. To have Chicago, who's 2-4, put up 33 points on you, and Justin Fields and Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery are running against you. That's pretty.
It's pretty bad.
Pretty non-Belichickian.
But as with the whole season up to now, the IDPs have showed up when the offense has bottomed out.
It was a great tweet today, Josh.
Thank you, Bobo. Did a little research because I was just curious. When I saw that tweet about offensive scoring for fantasy football being the lowest it's been, I believe, in 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and listen. I think it was 1 or 2 episodes ago I mentioned that tweet. I thought, well, it feels like the IDP scoring has been out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are many ways you could measure that, but the simple way that I did was just looking at basically the top 5 scores each week for offensive flex, so no QBs, and defense, and then averaging that across the first 6 weeks. And the results were, I think, not surprising to us because we've kind of been, pounding the drum on this. But the output for the top 5 offensive player was 33.93 points. For the top 5 IDPs, 36.36 points.
Wow.
So, like we've been saying, IDP scoring has been going wild this season. Now, is that in conjunction or have anything to do with kind of the pendulum of offensive scoring being down this year? I don't know. But, Addy, I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
More points, more fun.
That's right. Do you like points? Come play some IDP with us.
Yeah, but, just you should be playing it in general. There was just – I put a tweet out with the De'Vondre Campbell pick 6, just an unbelievable play.
That's actually what got me thinking about it.
One of the best plays you'll see on the year, and the fact that 90% of fantasy players out there don't get any credit or don't enjoy that play like they should. Like, that was as hype as I've been all year because I got De'Vondre Campbell in quite a few spots.
Yeah.
But, boy, that was fun, and that's why you play IDP.
That's right. Now you can enjoy it no matter who's on the field, every game, twice the amount of enjoyment.
Tiptoeing into the end zone, you're like, is he going to get in? Because it really matters. It's
yes,
an
of course.
Extra 6.
Yeah.
But, boy, that was an awesome play. I love that.
It just makes every bit of fantasy football more fun. And if you have this kind of season where it's like, man, offense really sucks. I guess what? IDP's going nuts.
Yeah.
We're having a great time.
I haven't noticed much of it, honestly.
Yeah. It hasn't stung me that much. So, lots of scoring still here in Week 7. That stat only included the first 6 weeks because we weren't finished with Week 7 as I was putting it together. But, boys, some standouts from Week 7 as well. That's what we're going to do on tonight's show, Week 7 recap, looking at all the games. And we should talk about the game that's going on right now. Matthew Judon, 38 points here by Big 3 scoring. Last I checked. Roquan Smith, 20 points. Jaquan Brisker having a nice game, 16 points as well. So, Bobo, Matthew Judon has been an absolute menace for real NFL and for IDP this season.
He has.
Are you going to rain on my parade right now? He has 2 30-point games in the last 3 weeks, and another game of 21, another game of 17, a game of 16. His worst output on the season is 8 1/4.
Honestly, a majority of that, too, is in the first half. I think he had 3 sacks before halftime. I don't know. He's good.
He's good. Let's just own it, Bobo.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
But I just go back to kind of what Adam pointed out a couple episodes ago where he did the same kind of thing last season for the first 8 to 10 weeks and then disappeared when he really needed him most. So IDP's difficult. Enjoy it while it lasts. But no, Matt Judon is a very good player.
Agreed. Some other good players we're going to touch on, boys. Starting in the Saints-Cardinals Thursday night game. We got to talk about it. I don't know what's happening, boys, but we have 3 straight double-digit games for Isaiah Simmons. Is this a blip? Is he finally turning the corner? He's back. You never should have folded, Addy. He has played 67.6% of snaps over those 3 games. So that's like linebacker 2 numbers with Zaven Collins getting close to 100% of the snaps during those games as well. Saw that again here. Only 9.75 for Zaven, but Isaiah Simmons, 27.35 points, leads all scorers in this game. Cam Jordan for the Saints, 20.4. Pete Warner, 16.75. Demario Davis, 15.1. So pretty good game for IDP, Addy. Saints linebackers showed up. You had a Cam Jordan game. A little bit down on the Cardinals side, but Simmons shows up. Let's start there. Are we doing anything with Isaiah Simmons or just staying away?
I mean, are you adding him to your redraft leagues, your teams?
Probably not.
I don't know. I mean,
it depends. It's always context specific.
Probably so for me. I mean, if he's doing, he's always been a guy that's when he gets to playing time, he has that upside. He can make big plays and stuff, and yeah, he's coming through right now. So I would totally buy him. I think that he's a pretty solid buy. I mean, again, the thing with Simmons is we're thinking about the next stop. We're thinking about where he's going to end up. Probably not near, life after Arizona.
Yeah.
According to PFF, love you, John Macri. In week 7, he was targeted 7 times. They had 7 receptions for 76 yards. Now, he did have the 1 INT. Let's go back to his actual scores. 4 tackles, 1 assist, 1 INT, 1 pass defended, and 1 interception for a touchdown, and 56 interception yards returned. There's 14 of his points right there.
That's true. Only 5 tackles.
Yeah. I'm still not buying Isaiah Simmons.
Only 5 tackles, and that is his highest output on the season, except for a 13 tackle game.
And the PFF grades
in week 5.
The PFF grades really don't love him either. Overall grade of 60, and then in coverage of 65. Tackling a 29. It's not there. If somebody wants to come by Simmons, let this be your sell high, quote unquote window. Quote unquote sell high window. What should I put the quotes before? Did I do that right?
Yeah, you did good.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
Quote unquote sell high window.
All the linebackers there are bad though.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, it's so funny. We went from so much excitement and hype around the 2 tall trees in the middle of the defense to now both of these Cardinals linebackers are absolute nightmares and headaches for IDP.
On the season, Isaiah Simmons has 75 run defense snaps, 25 pass rush snaps, and 199 coverage snaps.
Yep.
So
they're using him like they told us they were going to.
Now, if he's a DB and continues to be a DB and sleeper, I have moderate interest. I don't know. I'm not giving a lot for the guy. Not worth talking tremendously a lot about like we just have.
Biggest revelation for the Cardinals this year is Zach Allen.
That's right.
Yeah.
12.25 points, another great game, 83% of snaps.
Yeah, he's been awesome all year. I mean, he's someone that you can pretty much start, I think, with confidence at this point. And also, all the numbers are – he's got 18 pressures on the year on 246 pass rush snaps, 76.0 PFF grade. Guy's been really, really good, the best pass rusher on that defense so far. Mm-hmm. And, I don't want to, throw shade on Zaven Collins. I still like Zaven Collins. I still think Zaven Collins is solid. I mean, we saw him with the, that 2-sack game that he had a few weeks ago. I mean, that's what I've always thought, Zaven Collins should be doing, rushing the passer more. But yeah, I think that he's still got plenty of time. I think we can be patient with Zaven, but I mean, outside of him, I mean, there's nobody there.
No.
So, I mean, I think Simmons, if he's going to continue to get 75%, I mean, he's going to
He's on the radar.
He's an LB3, LB4. I mean,
yes.
You can do worse than that.
Absolutely. Speaking of worse, it got a little bit worse in the Giants-Jaguars game. Giants win 23-17. It was a disappointing day for most of the IDP studs in this game, but man, boys, let's put some more respect on Foye Oluokun's name. Mm-hmm. He's been a double-digit scorer every single game this season, clocking in with 15.5 points on 100% of snaps. And that's really, I mean, Trayvon Walker, you love to see that. Bobo, 14.95 points there. Disappointing day from the Giants IDPs, but some bright spots for the Jags.
Absolutely. I think the Trayvon usage is encouraging. Had the big week 1 and then really hasn't done anything since then. The snaps are encouraging, 87%. I think the other thing, too, Josh Allen has been pretty bad here for probably 3 weeks in a row, which is interesting. I think maybe a little bit of the double teams being forced Josh Allen's way could possibly be giving Trayvon a little bit more opportunity. But exactly like we kind of started off here with
the log has been bad, Bobo. You're right. 4.25, 3.25, and 4 the last 3 games.
You know, and Josh Allen too is one of those guys that he's just not getting a ton of tackles to kind of reinforce the floor for the games where he doesn't have a sack. But I like the Trayvon Walker sack. That's encouraging. But exactly like Aaron started this out here. Maybe it was you, Joshy. Sorry if I'm not giving you credit.
That's okay.
But Foye's been great. Foye, a guy who we kind of poo-pooed on a little bit in Atlanta last year.
Well, he was a popular regression candidate for this season.
And then even I talked pretty bad about him in the offseason for how much money the Jags gave him. But the guy's played really well.
It's the worst game on the year, 12.5 points.
That's right.
I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. He's had look at his log: 13.5, 12.5, 14.5, 27, 24.8, 14, 15.5. I mean, that is as rock solid as it gets.
He's probably the front runner right now to finish the season as the LB1, and we shouldn't be surprised.
He's done it. What year was it? Last year was he the LB1 or 2 years ago?
Last year he was the LB1.
Yeah.
Led the league in tackles, I believe, with 192.
Just an outrageous number of tackles.
Here's my only question, Josh. Because the Jaguars keep losing, does any of that change?
No, I don't think so.
Not with him.
You think the Foye,
the money, yeah.
We don't start seeing Muma.
Nope.
No, someone's going to have to get hurt.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's only an injury.
I got you.
I really do think.
You watch more AFC football than I do.
Yeah,
But
Devin Lloyd and Foye Oluokun both playing 100% of snaps.
Now Muma is looking really good on special teams. I've been keeping up with you know, how he's doing and stuff, and they love him on special teams, but they know that that's going to come to an end because he's that good of a football player, and they're going to need him on defense. So
That's right. Speaking of the AFC South, it was a gross battle for first between the Colts and Titans. The Titans get the 19-10 victory, which led to Matt Ryan's benching and the Sam Ehlinger era getting underway in Indy. But on the IDP side, Bobby O is heating up 3 straight double-digit scoring games, as is David Long for the Titans, who's averaging 23.45 points and has 2 INTs in the last 2 games. Jeffrey Simmons, day-to-day, out of this game with an ankle injury. We should mention from the previous games, Adoree Jackson, head injury, day-to-day, and then Bradley Roby, ankle, day-to-day from the Thursday night game. So, boys, I want to start with Bobby Okereke because a lot of the conversation has been around Zaire Franklin, what happens when Shaq Leonard comes back. Addy, what's your sense right now? Do you think it's Bobby O to the bench, or is it the 100% snap man, Zaire Franklin, that gets yanked?
I have no idea.
This is one of the biggest mysteries right now.
Yeah, Chris Farley, no idea gif. I don't know. I mean, like I mentioned last episode, I do like the fact that Zaire Franklin has the captain patch. That does a little something for me. He has been extremely productive, but I mean, those guys are pretty similar. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know which way it's going to go. I mean, obviously you got to hold on to both. For whatever reason, I feel more confident in Zaire
because he hasn't been benched.
He hadn't been benched at all this
Bobby
year.
O's been benched.
Yeah.
But Bobby O's PFF grades from this week are pretty nasty. 82.7 overall.
He's a good player, man.
80.7 in tackling and then 75 in coverage.
So I wanted to see here. So on the season so far, Zaire Franklin, 100.5 points by Big Three scoring. Bobby O has 94.75. So Zaire Franklin is outscoring Bobby Okereke, but it's not by much.
Yeah.
And with Shaq Leonard coming back,
yeah,
the reason you hold both is because A, we don't know, and B, Shaq Leonard has been banged up a lot this season.
The guy is having
he's a huge injury liability.
The most unluckiest start I think I've ever seen.
Broken nose plus concussion.
It's starting to feel kind of Michael Thomas kind of feel to where it's just like another thing. It's like 3 weeks, and then something else that's like 2 or 3 weeks. It's like, are you going to play this year?
Well, here's the weird part. Did y'all know that he was a full participant in practice and was cleared to play?
Wow.
But Frank Reich shut him down.
Interesting.
And gave him another week of rest.
Why?
Interesting.
Kind of interesting because he knows he has 2 linebackers out there that can get the job done.
Yes. Speaking of PFF grades, Bob, 77.3 last week for Zaire, and then 71.9 the week before that. So he's been heating up as well.
They've been good. Mm-hmm. I kind of wonder if they're like, man, should we have given Shaq Leonard that massive like $100 million deal?
The answer is
no.
Yeah. You should never ever.
You should never do that.
Any
for
big
linebackers.
contract, probably.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Just never pay anyone. Just let all your stars walk and just Churn that roster, baby. Unless it's a quarterback.
I genuinely think you could do that. I mean, I genuinely think
never re-sign
that's
anyone.
the strategy. Look at all
I would
these,
just sign a bunch of 1-year deals.
I mean, we see so many of these guys. Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs kind of broke the world when they did that one, where it was like, wait, y'all are not paying him. Christian McCaffrey just got moved this last weekend. I don't know. Todd Gurley is only 27 years old. I looked that up on Sleeper this weekend after the whole reemergence of him saying he's not playing football, and then the tweet, fake news. Everybody was freaking out.
Wow. 27 years old. In a 37-year-old's body.
It's crazy, man.
So other notables here, boys. Jeffrey Simmons keeps balling out, 21.9. Danico Autry haunts the Colts. This is legit. This is not just me kind of, putting this on to Danico Autry, projecting this onto him. He legitimately is pissed off every time he plays the Colts because Ballard refused to give him the contract he deserves. He goes to the Titans, and every time he plays the Indianapolis Colts, he absolutely wrecks shop. 17.65 points. We mentioned Zaire Franklin had a great game, 10.25. Bobby Okereke with 21.5. There's Yannick Ngakoue, Bobo, 18.15. Had a sack on 68% of snaps.
About time he did something.
That's right. We need him to step up now with Kwity Paye gone.
Also, Danico Autry sneakily having a fantastic year.
He's been great this year.
For fantasy. He has 5 sacks on the year and a forced fumble and double-digit scoring in 4 of his 5 games started.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that good.
Yeah, that's not like him at all. Normally it's so up and down, you never know when to start him.
I think it's going to be helpful, too, that Bud Dupree's back. I don't know that Rashad Weaver has been a lot of help there on the line for
just
Tennessee
41% of snaps this week.
Yeah, so Autry will have a little bit of help.
Bud Dupree, 75% by comparison.
Yeah, I like Autry, man. He's been really helpful as a deep defensive end in some of these degenerate leagues.
Somebody you probably could have gotten off waivers.
Absolutely.
Early in the season.
You could probably still go acquire Autry today for nothing. Somebody's probably going to be like, yeah, it's just 32-year-old Autry.
Just Danico Autry.
Who cares?
So Browns-Ravens, boys. Next game on the list here. Ravens get the 23-20 victory. Stave off another fourth quarter collapse. So happy for that with my Ravens Super Bowl prediction. But with linebacker uncertainty reigning in Cleveland, even with Jacob Phillips out for the year with the pec injury, the position is settled in Baltimore for IDP purposes, boys. The King of Queens, Patrick Queen, has scored 10-plus points in all but one game this season.
Yeah.
Leads the way with 28.25. Meanwhile, JOK, 22 points on 80% of snaps. Addy, let's start with the linebacker battle there. Even with Jacob Phillips out of the way, do we have confidence on how this thing is going to shake out?
It's going to be Deion Jones.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's probably getting the dot.
Yeah.
How does JOK factor into this?
He'll get sprinkled in fine. I mean, he'll get between 70 to, I mean, he may be pretty close to full-time himself, but I mean, I think you can at least expect him to be between 70 and 80%.
Is JOK the talent and kind of the usage that we were hoping Isaiah Simmons was going to be?
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of the off-ball.
Unorthodox linebacker.
Yes. I mean, Simmons is a lot bigger than JOK, but in my opinion, I think your sell JOK window is closing. Deion Jones is there. Sione Takitaki is getting crazy snaps for some reason.
Monkey wrench for me. What are we to make of? Is Takitaki worth a pickup? 56% of snaps, 13.5 points.
No, I don't think so. I think they're just, they couldn't rely on Deion Jones to handle a full load yet. So I mean, that's why he was seeing snaps. Now, if I think it's going to take an injury to JOK for Takitaki to do anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, Deion Jones only got out-snapped by Takitaki by 4% of snaps, 52% to 56%.
That linebacking core, though, does seem to be, when I check Macri's tweets after the games, everything's different every week.
It's like the Dallas safety equivalent.
Yeah.
There's like 3 guys getting significant snaps. Maybe that evens out. I think you're right. I think it's going to be Deion Jones, 100% of snaps. JOK probably 70 to 80%. Sione Takitaki 40 to 50 maybe.
Does anything happen to that defense when Deshaun comes back? Have the Browns have been losing, haven't they? They haven't been very good with
They've been in games.
Yeah, they've been competitive. I don't know how much change. I think Deshaun's going to be rusty as hell. I mean, the dude hadn't played football in like a year and a half at this point.
Boy, they're gonna probably be pretty good though. The Browns. Once Watson does get comfortable, I mean,
y'all forget
Chubb's
Deshaun
gonna go.
Watson was like a career top 5 quarterback
He is one of the best
With-
quarterbacks.
with Kiki Kuti,
I mean, you got Amari there,
Brandon Cooks,
Donovan Peoples-Jones,
You got
David Bell.
and Njoku's
Njoku.
banged up though,
Harrison Bryant.
out 2 to 5 weeks. I guess he'll be back around the time Deshaun is.
Let's talk real quick too about you want to take a lap or you want to sit there? You want to get up?
What are we victory lapping?
Just for Adam. Way back in the offseason, Adam told everybody, be patient with Pat Queen. I'm telling y'all, the pass rush upside. Well, here we are in week 7. Pat Queen has 3.5 sacks on the season, had an 11 tackle week. The dude is playing ball. A 76 overall PFF grade, an 83 tackle grade, and a 75 pass rush grade in week 7. The dude's a baller. It's come around. It's Pat Queen season.
Yeah, 17.5 points per game. That's second in the league among linebackers. 23.2 years old. That's another stat.
No, he is not.
23.2.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is his 3rd year in the league.
So he came in at, I guess, 20?
Is that info
Wow.
in your ranks, Adam?
That's there, and
That's beautiful.
And there's a ton of. We've also started putting the logs in there now, so we're gonna have.
Oh, we got log action?
We're gonna have the consistency ranks updated here pretty soon. We're at the midpoint of the season now, so I want to get all the stats. I want to have a good mid-year review of how everyone's doing. But yeah, we have
Let's go.
tons of data in these ranks. We have points per snaps, we have points per game, we have tackle rates, we have tackles per game, we have all the logs in there. And again, we're gonna have it so where you can see who scored the most points over 20 points, who's had the most games of scoring under 5 points. Just really useful information.
What they had for lunch.
Yeah, their favorite
Favorite
Chick-fil-A
color.
order.
Sure.
All of it.
All of it's in there. Check it out, theidpshow.com, folks. Addie's in there. I see him every day.
Yeah.
Updating those ranks.
Let's give a worried take real quick. Y'all worried about Odafe Owe? Dude hadn't done a lot this year.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like to see that, but you just gotta be patient with him, man. I mean, I love his situation. The pressures have been fine for him for the most part. Let me pull those up.
Only 55% of snaps.
He has 23 pressures on the year.
Kyle Hamilton
That's
cracked
pretty good.
the top 5 on 35% of snaps, 15.3 points. So good to see K-Ham getting in there.
Did you agree with me and Evan's take on Jaquan Brisker? You taking Brisker or Kyle Hamilton in a dynasty trade?
Hamilton.
Hamilton still?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh, I'm leaning Brisker, baby.
Yeah, I mean, we like what we see from Brisker so far, but take the long view. I think it's going to be K-Ham season there as early as next year.
Man, Brisker just passes the eye test. You watch that boy play, especially that pick he had tonight. He hit so hard too. The length, the athleticism, the ball skills. I don't know, man. He's rising for me.
Got a great name too.
Sure.
That team sucks too. I mean, they when there are good players out there, they stand out.
They shine. They're a diamond amongst the turds.
Yeah, for sure.
Although that team did stomp the Pats tonight, so
They did.
That's kind of odd.
Kind of like me in here with y'all. A diamond amongst some turtles.
Now,
That's right.
In fairness, the Pats were playing a 4th rounder from this draft.
That is true. Who was that, Addy?
I don't remember.
Is it Mike White?
I think it was Brandon Dowdy.
Brandon David. There we go. There we go. No, hopefully Zappy season's not over. We'll see. I feel like, though, costing Belichick the chance to pass George Halas, he's probably going back to Mac Jones out of spite.
I don't know though. Give Zappy the start to the game. I don't know.
It was weird.
I didn't agree with it.
Very
from the jump.
strange. Like, if you're gonna get him in and play him the whole game, why not just have him start?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's always like when they say, "Well, so and so quarterback he's active, but he is a backup, right? He's typically the starter, but he is not going to start for us. He's just kind of there in case of emergency." I'm like, if he's healthy enough to play on an emergency basis, why is he not starting?
Yeah.
I know it's a practice thing, but like,
Yeah.
Okay, well then make him inactive and just let him have another week. I don't. It just drives me crazy.
And there's no way Mac was really ready though. Either,
No.
I don't think. I mean, for him to make the face he was making coming off the field, I mean, clearly it was a high ankle sprain. I mean, he's not 100%.
He's in pain.
He was just worried about his job.
That's right. He was a little stressed, and he had every right to be.
And you tried to kick Brisker in the nads. We don't like it.
Don't kick him in the nads. Be nice, Mac Jones. Don't do that.
Sorry for that, Danny.
What was that, Addy? Is that a ref I didn't get?
One of our haters.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's true. Shout out to our haters. We appreciate y'all. No haters, though, in Cincinnati for this Bengals team. Has seemingly turned the corner, boys. Gotten there, you know what, together on offense. Putting up 30 points against the Atlanta Falcons. Getting the 30-26 victory. Grady Jarrett had his third boom game of the season. Double H, Hendrickson, and Hubbard showed up again. And 2 of the 3 Atlanta linebackers came up short, despite offensive fireworks from the Bengals. Injuries coming out of this game, Jalen Hawkins, concussion week to week, already declared out versus the Panthers next week. AJ Terrell, this one hurts. Hamstring injury week to week. And Trey Hendrickson, neck injury day to day. Double H showed up again. Bobo, Grady Jarrett balled out. Y'all mentioned Jalen Hawkins on the preview pod. Good to see him there. 15.75 points. Takeaway from the Bengals-Falcons game?
Follow at IDP Evan on the tweets. The boy's on fire. He knows what he's talking about.
Love to see it.
Nah, Jalen Hawkins, he was getting the usage, and I hate that he went out with a concussion, but man, 15 points. I think he had quite a few tackles too. I don't have it in front of me, but actually, yes, I do. Here it is. 10 tackles. I don't even know if he had any interceptions, but yeah, he's been fun. DB has been a wasteland, at least for me this year. So to grab a guy like Hawkins, who maybe he stays that way after he comes back from concussion, maybe he goes back to a deeper role. I don't really know, but I'm happy with it right now. It does suck for Trey Hendrickson. Are we expecting him to miss like a lot of time? Is this Joseph Osai?
I mean, it's day to day, so I think he'll probably be in the mix to play this coming weekend.
I gotcha.
Addy, what you got for us?
On the Bengals side, I mean, it's unfortunate that Jermaine Pratt didn't have a good game because I think most people probably started him. That was a pretty much a layup of a matchup. I mean, you should have, and you should start him next week as well. But Akeem Davis-Gaither was actually the guy that showed up in the stat sheet a lot more, 10.25 points. I think that was on 9 tackles, but played 68% of the snaps, which is exactly what we were expecting, between 60 to 70%, that previously the Jermaine Pratt role. So, yeah, I think ADG is going to be very useful, extremely efficient. If he's going to keep getting 70%, he's a fine start.
Both of them could be very similar production type linebackers, I think, for your team. I think 1 week could be, it's kind of like a Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner type situation. Not talent-wise, but I think points-wise, you can look up and, wow, Dre had a week. Oh, wow, cool.
It's what we've seen there with Logan Wilson and Pratt already. It's the same thing.
Yep. How long is Wilson out for?
2 to 5, I think, is what I saw.
And it reminds me a little bit of this Falcons situation. 2 players that are kind of gross, Jermaine Pratt and Akeem Davis-Gaither, just because, he's sort of a later round draft pick that hadn't gotten a lot of run yet. But, I mean, you look at these 2 linebackers for the Falcons, and it's 2 guys that nobody's, set the world on fire for, and Michael Walker and Rashaan Evans. But, I mean, I think week in and week out, flip a coin on who's going to be more productive. We saw Rashaan Evans and Akeem Davis-Gaither come out on top of that heap this week. It could easily flip in week 8. Who knows?
It's clear that Atlanta likes Michael Walker. He's back in the lineup and playing 100% of snaps a week off of being injured.
Yes, he did play, folks.
Only 3 points. Yeah, only 3 points. Troy Anderson actually outscored him on 41% of snaps, but back to a part-time role for Troy Anderson. If you're going to be starting some Falcons linebackers, it needs to be Michael Walker or Rashaan Evans.
The Jesse Bates trash can season continues. 95% of snaps, 2.5 points. So
he's droppable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Time to cut bait.
Even Von Bell's kind of taking a turn for the worse here lately.
Yeah, 6.25. 6.25 on 100% of snaps. Not great, Bob.
Now, this is a tough matchup, though, for your DBs, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, although Von Bell does spend a lot of time in the box, remember the Falcons, I think, threw 13 times last week, and that's about what they do every single week, I think. Yeah. So you're just not going to get any pass volume.
No. You gotta I don't know. It may be getting late early for Marcus Mariota. This team had some fun. They were kind of flashy, but I mean, you can't have a modern day game plan with Desmond Ridder or with Marcus Mariota throwing the ball a dozen times a game. You got to get that rookie in there and see what you got.
Yeah. I was just trying to make sense of what you said.
What's
it's
that?
getting late early.
Yeah.
I had to
It's getting late early.
roll that one through.
That's it got late early for Matt Ryan. You hate to see it. Hate to see it if you're a Lions fan, and there were a lot of people on the Lions bandwagon after Hard Knocks go down 24-6 to the Dallas Cowboys.
You was.
I did. I enjoyed that team.
Speaking of Hard Knocks, that mid-season Arizona Cardinals Hard Knocks could
That could be
take some
very,
people's jobs.
very spicy.
Yeah. Have they already recorded that, or is that
We're
like
working
current
on it.
stuff?
When they did the Colts season last year, which was the first one, they basically zoomed through the whole season in like a montage and got caught up with the current week, and then it was basically Hard Knocks from that point forward.
They just cut to Kyler gaming every like 45 seconds.
I hope they
Don't
actually
you feel it's kind of turning though for Arizona? You got Hopkins back. I don't know. I felt some good energy.
there was good energy there, but you also had Kyler ripping his coach a new a-hole coming off the field. So there's some bad vibes. I don't think Kyler and Kingsbury are.
He was telling him to calm the F down.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't. I knew it was.
I think. I mean, it's pretty
something
much what it
expletive
seemed.
in there. Yeah.
Did you see the DeAndre Hopkins "I'm back" like Twitter montage?
I heard there was one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't get a chance to see it.
There was a bunch of people retweeting like, "This is the first ever like I'm back from PED like montage
That's true.
anybody's
Yeah.
ever made."
It's like I battled my way back from taking a banned substance. Go me.
He was good though.
I always feel like Kyler's attitude towards Kingsbury is like, what the hell are we doing? Like, what are these plays? Why
Yeah.
can you never call anything that doesn't end in me running for my life and buying like 8 seconds back there and making a miracle throw?
In hindsight, I am glad they paid Kyler. You can see the talent. It's just a mess there. Everything around
they
him
need
is just
they need a
mess.
new regime there. They need to clean house and get some talent around him.
I feel like Kyler would do a little bit better with like an older coach. You know, you put him with a Andy Reid or like a Belichick or somebody who can kind of just be like, look, you can't walk over here and tell me like anything that you just told Kingsbury.
When you're the $230 million quarterback, you can tell Kingsbury whatever you want. You're the
guess.
highest paid, most important person in that building.
You still on? You think they're going to be done this year?
I do indeed.
You still
Guards,
on that?
5-12, Kime and Kingsbury out the door.
Wow.
Called it in the
You
offseason.
think it's going to change, or you think we're still steady?
It's such a bummer that Hollywood got hurt, man.
I know.
He was balling.
Because he's a baller. He is.
He started the last season like this and got hurt.
Them not using McBride has been weird too.
Well, you got Ertz playing just
That's
fine.
true.
I mean,
That's
Ertz
true.
is good.
Yep.
They have a lot of fun pieces on that team. And Rondale Moore is a lot of fun. I mean, we've seen him be electric in some moments. You know, Benjamin having some.
Greg Dortch.
Craig Dortch.
Why not? It's a
I like
fun last
Dortch.
name.
I like
Dortch is-
Dortch.
That's great. I don't know
Al
how
Michaels was pronouncing it really weird. He was like Dortch.
Yeah, Michaels
every time.
Michaels is having a bad season. Like I like to pay attention to the announcers. and-
Why are him and Chris not together? Why are we doing that?
Why is Herbstreit around? I don't feel like any of Herbstreit's games, like given, I know the Thursday night games have been bad. I feel like Herbstreit has been not great.
He's not. He's a little out of his depth. He's a little out of his comfort zone. It would be like sending an NFL, it'd be like sending Troy Aikman down to call college games.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a fair ask of this guy that's exclusively done college for 15 years. But the reason that Chris Collinsworth is not with Al Michaels is because NBC forced Al Michaels out the door because they knew they had Mike Tirico waiting in the wings to come in as the new play-by-play guy. They didn't want to let go of Collinsworth. So, and Amazon wanted a big fish. Michaels wanted to stay with NBC, but he was forced out the door because they wanted Tirico to get into that seat. It was just kind of odd man out, and he got booted out. And I don't know if they had auditions with different color analysts to see who would work best with Al Michaels, but you know, Kirk's called some NFL games before and done okay. They probably just wanted a big name.
Mm-hmm.
I think the chemistry's fine. It's just they've gotten bad games. Michael seems really bored and just kind of pissed that he's calling games on Amazon. I mean, the ad reads for the Amazon television shows that he has to do are hilarious. He's had a bad season. It's been a bad look.
Are you okay with Tirico and Chris?
I'm honestly not even listening that much.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I miss Michaels and Collinsworth. That was
I keep it
my favorite.
kind of paused or muted for the most part.
And he just
I just
pauses
pause it,
fall
and then I just-
asleep.
Catch up on Twitter.
Drift off to sleep.
Look
and
at the
catch up
box
in the morning.
scores.
I mean,
That's
truly.
how we do it here at
That's
the
right.
IDP show.
So I don't know how we keep getting off this Lions-Cowboys game because there was a lot to talk about in this Cowboys game. We know what we're doing with the Dallas IDPs. We're firing them up. This defense has been awesome this season. But does that now extend to Sam Williams, boys? Probably not yet. But the rookie had 32.15 points, leading all scores. Speaking of rookies, Aiden Hutchinson, 20.9 points on 89% of snaps. Alex Anzalone outscored Malcolm Rodriguez once again on 89% of snaps compared to 73% for Rodrigo. But on the Dallas side, boys, if you fired up one of these IDP options, you were going home grinning. Micah Parsons, 17.35. Donovan Wilson, 17. Dorrance Armstrong, discount. DeMarcus Lawrence, 16.15 points. Trayvon Diggs, why not? 15.55. It's just a great time to have assets from this Cowboys defense. But, Addy, Sam Williams, we're rostering him, but we're probably not starting him yet, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Dorrance Armstrong is just playing way too good there. I mean, he's not gonna replace him. But you love to see Sam Williams do this in his limited reps. I mean, this is great for dynasty players. But
That's insane that he outscored the percentage of snaps that he was on the field.
Yeah, you don't often see that.
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this for what seemed like was going to be a problem for the Cowboys. You know, that was the talk all off season. Was like, oh boy, how are they going to replace Randy Gregory? Dorrance Armstrong took a step.
Missed him, yeah.
Yeah, Armstrong took a step. I mean, he's got a great log, boys.
Yeah, I've got it here. He has 6 sacks on the season, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and games of 15, 12, 18, 5, 18, and 22 points. Dorrance Armstrong, oh my goodness.
Only 2 single-digit games this season. And
Yep.
that was on 28 snaps, the first one, 4 points against Tampa Bay. And ever since then, the snaps have been better. Still not getting a ton. 30, 46, 40, 33, 37, 31. So not like outrageous number of snaps. Played 53%. That's about what he's
fine.
done.
They have some rotation, though. Ogbonnia Okoronkwo. They also had Dante Fowler.
Yeah.
That line can rotate because they have the depth right now. Whereas Randy Gregory's not even playing in Denver right now.
I mean, we didn't even have Anthony Barr, Jaron Kearse, Leighton Vander Esch, DeMarcus Lawrence, all north of 7 points.
Yeah.
Barr, Kearse, and Vander Esch north of 10 points. They don't even crack the top 5.
LVE continuing on the most
Yeah.
mediocre LB2 season that nobody's talked about on IDP Twitter.
Yeah, he's been very solid.
Yep.
So Deshaun Elliott left this game. We should mention for the Lions. Cramping day-to-day. He should be fine. Let's move to another game here, and I'm going to give you – yeah, we're all hurting. We're all hurting this time of year, folks. We're all cramping, trying to hydrate. I'm going to give you the solo cam here, Addy. Packers, 21. Commanders, 23. Headline, De'Vondre Campbell. That's it. That's the tweet. Speak on it, Addy.
I think I already did earlier in the episode.
Well, now that we have the specifics.
That's why you play IDP, folks. 45.8 points, 100% of the snaps. He was a guy that I think for the most part, you know, he's been a bit of a letdown so far this year. But now we can put him on the block and say, hey, who wants the LB8? Who wants, you know, whatever he is now, thanks to this huge week. But that's why you draft a guy like De'Vondre Campbell high. I mean, he is that type of player. I mean, he has the upside to be drafted as a top 12 linebacker. That's why we were taking him and why we were big fans of him.
And he has been disappointing, but he's had games of 13.75, 21.5.
Fine.
His worst game was
Solid.
4.
It's fine.
And he had 8.25, 9.25, and 7.5 the last 3 weeks before this.
Now, I will say I was trying to trade De'Vondre Campbell and I'm still going to be trying to trade De'Vondre Campbell, but no one was wanting him. No, I was kind of giving people decent deals. I mean, I was asking just for like a third, maybe a third and a fourth, but no one was wanting him because he was underperforming. I think people were worried about like, was it just a 1 year, you know, wonder type deal? But the play has turned around. He's looking much better. The PFF grades are starting to look very good. I think he was in the 90s this week. So And of course, a pick six will help that. But
Definitely will.
And exactly what Evan said on our pod, that Quay Walker is not after De'Vondre Campbell's butt.
I like the butt talk.
They're just gonna play. They're gonna play alongside each other, and they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, 73% of snaps. We should mention Quay Walker, 20.25 points
of the year.
Now there have been some high scoring like linebacking games this year, some 20s and some 30s. Can y'all remember the last like middle linebacker that scored north of 40 points?
I don't think we've had a 50 burger this year. I don't think we have.
Probably
But
like
even
a Devin White.
We've come
or Roquan.
close,
Really?
But
Last year, maybe.
yeah, we have. This is probably the highest scoring IDP performance of the season.
Most of the
Pretty close to it.
The high scoring ones from this year have been like the Judons, the Myles Garretts, the Aaron Donald. Most of the linemen, I feel like. I don't know that many of the linebackers who've gotten the almost 46
Almost
points.
46
I mean, you won your
points.
week. You won your week if
Yeah,
you
you
started
had
De'Vondre Campbell.
So we should mention for the Commanders.
I lost. So.
There you go. Well, can't all be
Sorry,
winners.
Adam.
Sorry.
Sorry, Adam.
that.
Commanders were disappointing across the board. Jamin Davis leading the pack with 11 and a quarter. Tells you all you need to know. But tell me about this Rashad Wild Goose character, folks. What's going on here? How did I not know up to this point that there was a Wild Goose character running around the NFL, Addy?
Love to see it. We're going to be adding him everywhere.
right.
He will be at the top of the waiver articles.
Legit, though. What position does he play? What's going on there? Is he in replacement of someone? I'm so curious.
He's their wild goose. That's what he
Sounds like a good bourbon brand.
That's what he is. He plays the wild goose.
What are we drinking, Josh? We're drinking Rashad Wild Goose. It's aged beautifully, 7 years, oak barrels, all the like. 7.5 points for Rashawn Gary. Bobo, 61% of snaps. Any worry?
Nah. He had a strip sack that was pretty filthy that got called back due to a pretty dumb holding penalty, I think, in the secondary for the Packers. So he would have saved your week with that play alone. I don't know. The pressure's still fine. The usage is still fine. The snaps are still fine. I'm rolling out Rashawn Gary with confidence. I want to talk about Cam Curl real quick.
Sure.
Cam Curl is still showing out pretty nicely. 80.7 tackle grade last week. I don't exactly know what he scored. I will look him up real quick.
He scored 10.75 on 100% of snaps
That's
this week.
fine. That's fine. I feel
Solid.
Like, I feel like
second place for the Commanders.
I feel like Curl's season is just starting to now ramp up. He's getting healthy. The usage is there. There's a lot of people. I'm looking at a guy right now who didn't even start Cam Curl and instead started Sean Elliott and Jesse Bates.
Ooh, let's get Bates out
It's a
of there.
Bengals fan, isn't it?
We won't comment on that. But I just really like Cam Curl for the rest of the season is all I'm going to say. Are y'all Cole Holcomb? Y'all want to talk about him? We haven't said his name in a while.
Yeah, don't sit him.
Yep.
Who cares? I mean, he's a good tackler. He's a great tackler. I mean, you're looking at, probably 8 tackles every single week.
Kind of LVES.
He has gone 5, 10, 9, 8, 16, 12, 9.
That's solid.
Yeah.
So that's
I'll
about
take
a
that.
10 tackle average.
I'll take that. You guys remember Chase Young?
Who?
Chase Old.
Chase, he was was he the 101 in the 2019 draft? Was he the first pick, second pick?
He was the second pick,
Second
I believe.
pick. That was
Yeah.
the Baker draft, wasn't it?
Yes. I think so.
No.
He was
too long ago.
he was the second pick in whatever draft he was in.
I'm looking it up.
He was 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago?
2020. Yeah, because Sam took him at the 106.
106.
Who was the first?
Who was
pick?
the
Who was the
quarterback?
first pick in the NFL draft? That
Hold on. Y'all
Yeah, I was gonna say that
banter
was
for a minute.
2020. God, that was the COVID draft. That was the virtual
feels
draft.
like
That feels like 1,000 years ago.
2020 NFL draft.
Bubba, I'm vamped for as long as I can.
Joe Burrow was the overall
Okay.
pick.
That's right.
That makes
There we
sense.
go.
Chase Young was number 2.
Yep. So the 102.
and then it was Herbert around there.
Okuda 3, Andrew Thomas 4, Tua 5, Justin Herbert 6.
Wow.
Crazy draft. I remember that
Damn,
draft.
dude, imagine if the Commanders took Herbert.
Listen to the insanity of this one. Isaiah Simmons went 8. Henry Ruggs went 12. Javon Kinlaw went 14. Jerry Jeudy 15. AJ Terrell 16. CeeDee Lamb 17.
That was a good draft.
Jalen Ramsey 21. Justin Jefferson
Jalen
22.
Ramsey.
Sorry, Jalen Raker.
I was like, Jalen Ramsey back in the draft, baby.
Justin Jefferson 22. Kenneth Murray 23. Jordan Brooks
Wow.
27. Pat Queen 28.
Wow.
T. Higgins 33.
Yeah, you don't sit.
I could go through this.
You don't sit Cole Holcomb. Do you want to see John
That was
Macri mad?
CEH
Just,
32, wasn't
sit
it?
Cole Holcomb.
I was gonna say that next. CEH 32.
Over JT, DeAndre Swift.
JT 41. Yes, DeAndre Swift was 35. Wow, DeAndre Swift went over JT. I forget about that.
That's crazy, too.
Do you want me to continue, Josh, or you want to go back to the
There's
IDP
a lot of good
pod?
tangents.
Let's just make this NFL draft 2020
I was gonna say
special.
we might upset like one or two listeners out there if we go on any more tangents. So let's keep it rolling though, and talk about something else equally depressing. Talk about the Commanders not taking Justin Herbert at 2. Let's talk about the Buccaneers losing 21-3 to the CMC and coachless Carolina Panthers.
Don't get into it yet. Let's talk about it. I know you like the macro, the outside. What's going on with the Buccaneers? What's going on with Tom? Tell me, Joshy.
I mean, there was a great discussion of it on the Athletic Football Show today. I think the protection issues have not helped. That offensive line is playing poorly. We knew the interior offensive line was going to be bad given the injuries they sustained, the losses through retirement they sustained. But Tom Brady doesn't look comfortable. I mean,
Greg was saying Godwin doesn't look right.
I mean, this was a crazy stat. So they are on 3rd and long, which is like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, which they're in a lot because they are very inefficient on 1st and 2nd down. Mm-hmm. They are 4 of 43 on the season.
Oh my god.
That's like 9%. The league average is like 25%, and the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting at like 47%. So the best team in the league is about 40 percentage points better on 3rd and long than the Bucs are. So this offense is just out of sorts. And I don't know, man. It's just some teams have funky, dark, weird seasons. Todd Bowles is pissed. He's like, this is our darkest hour. We got to play tougher. It's just all bad. It's all bad vibes.
They're old.
Who turns it around, Rodgers or Brady?
I think they're both. These seasons are just washes from both for different reasons.
I think Brady has a much better shot of turning it around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they've shown glimpses. The Packers have.
Godwin still probably doesn't trust his knee yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't look like himself.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans is really like the only player they have that's worth a damn this year. I mean, you got a lot of, and then you got like Cade Otton. At a tight end.
No rapport.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an Edelman or a Gronk.
they're just old at this point.
Yep.
Like, they just don't have.
It's like a band that stayed together too long. They should have just called it quits after. I mean, they should have run it back. I think they were smart to run it back. But coming back a 3rd year, especially after Brady retired, it just felt like 1 year too many.
Mike Evans' drop yesterday was brutal.
It was brutal. Yeah, that was like some clown
Would you
car
have had
stuff.
that? You'd have had that, right?
Oh, easy.
Gloves or no gloves? You probably didn't need gloves for that.
He just tapes up his fingers.
Yeah. I don't like gloves.
Just like different fingers, though. Not all of his fingers.
He like tapes them together.
He tapes them together. Yeah, it's like alien hands, like penguin hands. But this game sucked all the way around.
We're gonna have to look into that. I don't know about that, Josh.
Unless you had Brian Burns, which Burns had a nice game, 19.65. The rest of the IDP assets in this game were abysmal.
Brian Burns, did you guys see the report that they were offered 2 first?
2 first.
Would you guys trade Brian Burns if you were that GM?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what are we doing?
I'm having a fire sale. DJ Moore, come and get him. J.C. Horn, sure, why not? I mean, yeah, you just tear it down.
Was that
to
a
the
real
studs.
offer, or is that just a? Oh yeah, we got 2 first.
Well, they're saying he's
said
untradeable.
no.
Yeah, they're saying he's untradeable. He's a building block. So how do you bolster that claim? You say that you turned down 2 first-round picks.
It's like, no, no one sent you 2 first.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, all the owners are texting each other like, did you send 2 first?
On
Did you
Slack.
send 2 first? I sent 1 first.
Yeah, they're in the GM Slack, like slacking each other. There's a private chat on Slack with all of them, but the
Dan
Panthers.
Snyder's not in there.
It was him that did it. He's the idiot owner.
Yeah. You think the owner's sending out trades? Hey, let's do 2
He got in
first
there.
for Brian Burns.
Or Ursay.
The other thing,
One of the 2.
the reason you take it is because these 2 next drafts look like they're pretty stupid. I think the depth is supposed to be insane in 23 and 24.
Well, whatever is going on there, it's darkness for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Antoine Winfield, head injury, unlikely to play Thursday's game versus the Ravens. That'll be a schlock fest. I can't wait for that. But on the Panther side of things, What?
How many words were
Never
you
heard of that one.
combining
A
there?
schlock-fest? Y'all don't know what schlock is?
I was thinking like Slugfest.
Schlock is just kind of junk.
You're
It's
making
just
that up.
It's just like nasty kind of flotsam and jetsam. Do y'all know those words? Those are fun.
Yeah.
Flotsam and jetsam.
Yeah,
some
y'all
more
need
words
to
we don't
open up
know.
a thesaurus.
No
What's wrong
thanks.
with y'all?
We're gonna put a little the little squiggly line at the bottom of your Word doc when something's wrong. It's highlighting that word,
Absolutely,
and it's
not.
gonna say no replacements.
I'm gonna look up schlock and give y'all the official
No,
definition.
don't hit the Google image.
Don't hit the Google image.
Not if you're gonna type that in.
Nope, that's probably a good point. Any concern here, gentlemen, for
Yes.
Frankie Louvu? 3.5 points on 66% of snaps.
Yes, the answer is yes. But a more important question for you, Josh: are you concerned about Devin White?
I mean, he's had some slow games after setting the world on fire. The answer is no.
That's DW. That's what DW does.
That's right. Schlock, here it is.
like
You
that.
ready?
Cool. Just,
Little
just,
Arthur
just
ref.
Exactly.
Little Arthur ref.
Just off the cuff.
That's beautiful. I
He's
didn't get it at
DW
all.
now.
Talk about things I don't get. I'm looking at the definition
But
of
he knows all
schlock.
these damn words.
It's almost like I write for a living and I have to know words.
The children's show.
Cheap
is.
or inferior goods or material. Trash.
Boy, I'm sweating.
I'll look up flotsam and jetsam next.
I'm not afraid of Louvu. Louvu, I think they're just kind of, letting him get his feet under him. He's been out for a little
Go,
bit.
go, Frankie. Get your ass out there, Bo.
I think he'll be fine.
Let's talk about a team that may be turning it around. Of course, it helps to play the Houston Texans, who are in full-blown rebuild mode. The Raiders get the 38-20 win over the Texans. Christian Harris is ascending, at least in terms of the snaps. He might have missed 4 tackles, but for Vegas, it looks like it's going to be Double D and DP at LB until further notice. Sorry, B-Mart. How about that? How about that, boys? I thought y'all would like that. That was fantastic.
It's too much.
much?
Too much.
Pushed it too far.
Double D and DP
That's
alongside DW at LB.
That's right. At A&W, Route 44.
If I didn't read it, I wouldn't know what we're talking
I know,
about.
right?
here.
Yeah. Sorry. Divine Diablo and Denzel Perryman at linebacker. Sorry, Blake Martinez, to translate for y'all.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I guess Grugier Hill season is over.
Yep. That seems that way.
Not that anyone was using him anymore. I mean, he was the usage was fine with him, but he was just putting up some stinker. I mean, he had that 1 week, and then
That was week 1.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it. So yeah, I mean, it's good to see Christian Harris out there. Like you mentioned, 4 missed tackles. That's not great, but he is a young fella, and he will he'll get a long leash. So he's someone that might be worth an ad. I mean, with this performance and with the miss, I've been the missed 4 tackles going around on Twitter. So I mean, I don't think people are going to be running out to the waiver wires, but if he's going to end up getting a large role,
If he's going to take Camu Grugier Hill's role, I want that guy.
if he gets 80 to 100%, I mean, yes, we want him. I don't care how poor he looked week 1.
Yeah, we should specify here 68% of snaps. That was, I don't even think we have Camu Grugier Hill on here, boys.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so Christian Kirksey still playing 100% of snaps. He's the linebacker you want there. But I think for teams, as Sig pointed out in our first episode, teams where it ain't working, pay attention. It's not working in Houston. Christian Harris on the way up.
Rasheem Green's been really solid this year.
Boo Bam, you're welcome. Myself and Joey told you to start Rasheem Green this weekend. And
That's right. I remember that.
You're right, Adam. He has 4.5 sacks on the season, and double-digit scoring in 4 of his 5 games. So you're right.
And we mentioned when we were talking about him in passing when he started off hot at the beginning of the year, like I was surprised how young he is.
Yeah.
Just 25, I think. I
Mhm.
mean, so yeah, I mean, he could have a
got
a future ahead of him.
He's got a little draft capital. He's a 3rd rounder in 2018. Yeah, I like Green.
Yeah, and he just no one ever talked about him.
Nope.
No one cared about him. So that's someone.
No one cared about him.
I mean, no one ever loved him.
No one gave him his chance.
He's never been loved. He's never been kissed.
Sorry, I was just saying that Clelin Ferrell is still on this Raiders team. I thought, did they not cut him?
No.
No, he's still out there.
63% of snaps.
He's still out there.
Those were all special teams.
They
snaps.
keep him around to remind that GM what he done.
The
He's no longer there.
GM's gone. Boy, we are really, really doing something tonight.
Sir, sorry to the two haters out there that wanted to make it about themselves and leave us a nasty review. Awful sweet of you.
We do appreciate our 3-star
We are
reviews.
taking all your comments very seriously.
As you can tell from our 28th tangent of the night. Broncos lose to the Jets 9-16. What a weird game this was. Good Lord. Brett Ripien, Russell Wilson. Going to be out for a while, it seems like, with the hamstring injury. But it's a major bummer just all the way around for this game, unless you were rolling out DBs from the New York Jets. Sauce Gardner, 24 points. DJ Reed, 21.5. Thank you, Macri, for ranking him highly. Picked him up in the XFFL this week. And your boy, Bobo LaMarcus Joyner, 13.95 points. Really the only thing to write home from about this game, Alex Singleton, the long, greasy-haired man, 10.25 points. Bobo, the floor is yours.
One of my favorite things from this weekend was, I don't know if this was a Jets radio guy or maybe just TV announcer, but talking about how Cortland Sutton got lost in the sauce.
That he did. I think that was the TV announcer.
I loved that. That was a highlight from the weekend. But Sauce Gardner might be him. DJ Reed is also pretty good on the opposite side. Yeah, man, the Jets are for real. The Jets are they're a good team. If Zach Wilson cannot be bad, well, I don't know. Breece Hall going out might hurt.
Both these New York teams are fool's gold. This is the classic start of the season story, just playing well. I mean, they got Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson, and now Breece Hall's gone. Elijah Vera-Tucker is gone.
Yeah, Vera-Tucker sucks.
Hall was playing good.
About to go sideways. If they can get,
thanks, Josh.
If they can get to maybe like 8 or 9 wins and like scrape into the playoffs, that's a victory.
Way better from what they did last year. I'm not saying they're in the
absolutely.
Super Bowl, but for the Jets, they're pretty good.
And compared to the rest of this NFL landscape, they are a good team. Just because there aren't a lot of good teams right now.
Well, I feel like they're a middle team right now. I mean, there's a ton of teams that are
in that big fat middle.
I mean, are the Jets or the Packers better this year?
Probably the Jets.
Jets beat them, didn't they?
That's right. So, yeah, they beat them last week.
How did y'all beat the Chiefs?
That's a great question.
That's just dude. I mean, every
NFL,
week,
yeah.
every single week, there's just like what? How did the Panthers stomp all over the Bucs?
Buccaneers.
You know,
the Chiefs, the Colts did not win that game. The Chiefs lost that game. Like,
yeah,
I said that at the time. That was, if you watch that game, very fluky. And there's probably a lot of games that fall under that umbrella.
Was that in Indy?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was, yeah. So, sucky news coming out of this game. Baron Browning, hip injury week to week. Browning is expected to be sidelined for several weeks. Tom Pelissero of NFL Network reports Jonathan Cooper will likely be ticketed for an expanded role while Browning is sidelined. This was a bummer just because the Baron Browning emergence was one of the most exciting stories for IDP in all of 2022, and now he goes on the shelf for an extended period of time. It's a bummer, Addy.
Yeah, hate to see that. Dramont Jones, underrated, needs to be owned out there in all your leagues.
Oh, Addy, just getting us
needs to be out there rostered in all your leagues.
There you go. Come back to us. Too much beer. I'm gonna start cutting you off. Yeah, his he's got some boom weeks. He's had 26.9, now 24.75. Some single point games in there, but yes, you could do worse.
That's his position. Alex Singleton, his time is certainly coming to a close with Josie Jewell set to return. There was a chance he was going to play this week. He got in some limited practices, but they held him out. So I think, probably next week, Josie Jewell is going to be back out there. Alex Singleton needs to go back to the bench until we see what it looks like. I mean, I don't think we're going to see both those guys out there playing significant snaps. It's going to be one or the other. What's
the time frame on Randy Gregory? Is he coming back at all?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's out for the season.
Okay.
I don't remember talking about that.
That's a trend for Gregory. It seems like he's always, banged up or.
Yeah,
when he's out there, he plays well, but he's not out there a lot.
Yeah.
Misses a lot of time. Let's talk about one of the weirder outcomes in terms of offensive and IDP scoring for the weekend. Chiefs 44, 49ers 23. The Chiefs offense and defense had a field day against CMC's new team. If he's still on waivers, go grab Willie Gay while you can. We're not recommending the same for Dre Greenlaw's replacement day-to-day with a calf injury. If he's out, it's going to be a toss-up between Oren Burks and Demetrius Flanagan Foles. But either way, not good while Willie Gay should be on your rosters, Bobo, these San Francisco 49ers linebackers should not. You don't often see a game where the offense and the defense just racks up the points, but that's what we saw here with the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of big-name IDPs came through for you.
It was a pretty fun game to watch. What's the deal with Al-Shaair? Is he hurt pretty long-term?
Yeah, he's out.
Okay.
Yeah, they put him on IR.
Okay.
Probably due back at some point. I mean, he's been out since like week 1, I believe. So
All right.
surely he's getting close.
Because when they put in Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, I thought, where's Al-Shaair at?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I went looking for Al-Shaair.
Yeah. Let's answer Nico's question real quick from this weekend. Talanoa Hufanga, y'all buying in to the dynasty asset?
I think he's top 5, top 6 probably.
Yeah, I
safety.
agree. I think I have him as safety 4, probably climbing up a little further once I get in there and update again. But I mean, yeah,
Helped more by the fact that safety's just kind of bland.
exactly.
Right now.
I'm buying him as a top 5 safety, but I'm not buying any safety.
This is
ever.
very almost Isaiah Simmons-esque. 2 tackles, 2 assists, 1 INT, 1 pass defense, and then 2 interception yards. So of his 12.7 points last week, a majority of those were from that INT. I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. He's got 2 pretty good linebackers that play in front of him, and I know he plays that in the box some, but
There's just not a lot of good safeties, dude.
yeah, and there's not a lot of good safeties that I really just want to I want to link arms with long term. Is this really a guy that you're like, man, 2023, I feel great going into it with Talanoa Hufanga?
Are there any? What safeties are you wanting to, for one, spend the capital that it's going to take to acquire him? So if you're talking like a Brisker,
Yeah.
secret's out on him.
Probably a second for Brisker now.
Yeah, I'm not paying that.
No, I'm not either. I'm just saying
But
that's what somebody's
they're
going to
gonna
want.
And if you take him in a startup, you're going to have to spend like a top
What
8 safety pick on him, I'd imagine, right?
you have Hufanga, what's it going to take for somebody to come and get him?
I mean, I'd probably try to get a second for him, but realistically, a third.
I think if you can get a third, yeah.
I think if you're the manager of Hufanga, you're going to want more than a third.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
like
you're
I'm
gonna
not selling
swat
for a
that
third.
away.
Yeah, because the guy I'm going to get in the third round, I'm going to hope turns into Talanoa Hufanga. So, yeah, I think I have a better chance of getting an upgrade over Hufanga in the second round. So, no, I'm not going to sell him for a third, but that's probably what you would get for him, realistically.
I'd probably trade Hufanga I might trade him for a third. You're not ever going to get a second. And what happens if your window just closes?
I think if you're going to try and get a second, you're going to do like Hufanga and a fourth for a second, or Hufanga and a third for a second and a fourth. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to throw some picks in there too. But I mean, yeah, I think if you're going to trade a safety, you want to be looking to upgrade into those. You want to get in that second round.
Yeah. We're talking about
Otherwise, you are just going to hold just because he is. I mean, he's an advantage week to week at safety for you right now.
I wish the DBs were better this year because it would give us more to talk about. But the DBs have just been really weird.
Yeah,
again.
Hufanga, Winfield, Derwin, Donovan Wilson, Von Bell, Marcus Williams, Minka Fitzpatrick, Julian Love, Mike Edwards, Deshaun Elliott. Just some of the top safeties in our RSO league. Just a lot. When you have Ryan Neal, who we're going to talk about here in just a minute, going for 30 points in back-to-back weeks, it's just I don't hold too tightly to safeties.
Go trade him for L'Jarius Sneed, who had 12.2 points on 87% snap last week. Also, another shout-out to Evan from last week. He tried to tell everybody, hey, Willie Gay's coming back, and on 56% of the snaps, he had almost 13 points. Nick Bolton continues to be Nick Bolton, 87% of snaps, almost 16 points. A Frank Clark sighting, also a Chris Jones sighting, both of them right around 23 points on the week. The Chiefs team is for real on both sides of the ball. Yeah, I don't know what else to say there.
Hey, Frank Clark sighting, Addy.
He's heating up a little bit, man. He's in those best ball leagues that we took him,
the
all
last pick of the draft.
Exactly. He's been coming through for you lately. So, yeah, I'd love to see it. Ryan Neal, the usage has been amazing this year.
Go for it.
31 snaps on the line, 114 in the box, 74 at free safety, 39 in the slot. So, I mean, just dominating in the sweet spot. Love to see it.
Sadly, I think the defensive line there for the Chiefs being kind of deep this year is going to limit Karlaftis a little bit, at least for 2022. Carlos Dunlap looks pretty decent. Frank Clark is still fine. I know Karlaftis is getting, what did he get? 65% of the snaps last week. So that's actually really encouraging.
I mean, Frank Clark was 70.
Yeah.
Chris Jones was 75.
He had a nice week, after being down a little bit.
I keep thinking Melvin Ingram's there. He's not there anymore. He's in Miami. That's right.
Yep.
Got to give some love to Uchenna as well, man. He has been amazing this year, playing 80% of the snaps for Seattle, and making a play pretty much every single week. So, he's been a very nice surprise this year. He was someone that we loved on the show. So,
yep.
Yeah.
One of your favorites, Addy.
He's still young too, 25.
Yeah,
maybe 26.
Seattle, that looks like a great deal. They got him for 2 years, $20 million, I think. But yeah,
let's just jump to that game, boys. Seahawks get the 37-23 victory over the Chargers. Now the big name Chargers, IDPs, disappointed, but as Addy mentioned, Ryan Neal continues to make John Macri and Addy look like geniuses after his second straight game, scoring 25+ points. J.C. Jackson, we learned, was confirmed to have a torn patella tendon today. His season is over. That is a blow for that Los Angeles Chargers defense. But yeah, the Seahawks IDPs look pretty good, led the way. Ryan Neal did 31.55 points on 100% of snaps. But it is interesting here, Addy. A lot of these guys we see showing up for the Seahawks, at least a couple here in the, 3 in the top 5, playing less than 65% of snaps. Darrell Taylor, 44%, Shelby Harris, 52%, and Quentin Jefferson at 63%, but all scored north of 12 points.
Yeah, you're not relying on a lot of Seahawks. I mean, you got Ryan Neal, you got Jordan Brooks, you got Uchenna, and you got Tariq Woolen, who had a down week. But those are I think really your only 4 options you're going to have.
Yeah, Cody Barton on 63% of snaps.
Cody Barton's season is over. Pour one out. Thank you, but your butt.
Drew Tranquil continues to be butt when we trust him the most. Only 8.75 points on 99% of snaps, but Derwin only had 8 points on 100% of snaps. Khalil Mack, 5 points on 87%. It's just a down day. You're going to see this, like we said, doing these recap shows, looking at all the players, you're going to see certain teams just have bad weeks. That was the Bucs. Earlier we talked about not a lot of production there. I think Vita Vea was the leading Bucs scorer. So just some wacky weeks sometimes. It happens.
Another thing with Jordan Brooks, I mean, notice how he scores his points. It's just tackles. The dude doesn't do anything else, hardly ever. And that's been the case since he came in the league. And I think he's going to be that prototype of like a Cunningham, Zach Cunningham, Jalen Smith.
Yes.
He's going to be one of those types. So I think you need to keep that in mind in dynasty leagues.
I
if you can sell him, it's time to probably do it while he's still producing. He's going to be an LB1 as long as he's going to be an LB1 until he's a rookie, but there is a chance that the floor falls out very fast with him. So I think anytime you can move him, I think you should do it.
In 2022, when being targeted 26 times, there were 22 completions for 240 yards.
It sounds about right.
And 2 touchdowns.
So, yeah, Addy mentioned the tackles, 12, 11, 9, 11, 11, 11, 8. The rest of the little score chart there on his sleeper profile, 1 fumble recovery, 1 forced fumble. That is it.
Let me ask you a dumb question. Would you trade Jordan Brooks for Pat Queen plus right now?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat Queen
the plus part, the plus.
What about
a better player this season? Well, Brooks has been really good.
Here's the
you talking like plus a third?
Yeah, like plus anything, plus a wide receiver, plus a whatever,
plus 2 firsts,
whatever you want.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
I'm you.
Sure.
I have hacked into your account.
I just think that like maybe long term, maybe we want Pat Queen more than Jordan Brooks. Mm-hmm. But if we've learned anything, at least I feel like for me this year is that while I may value one of these players in a certain way, or maybe not as much, a lot of the IDP community still loves these Chase Young types that haven't touched the field at all in 2022. And while the public perception of Jordan Brooks may be still high, go get Pat Queen plus.
I will say though, I'm probably not doing that trade at all. I want picks. I don't want to bring on another linebacker that I have any type of concern about. Right? I want to cash out if I can.
Pat Queen in a third.
Yes, I'll do that.
Sure.
But I'm hoping to get rid of Jordan Brooks and get a second.
Sure.
And I can't get Pat Queen with the second. So
Gotcha.
I'm looking for picks. So
Somebody might give you Pat Queen in a second for Jordan Brooks.
Yeah, sign me up.
Oh boy.
Don't you? I feel like Jordan Brooks, like persona in the IDP world, is just crazy.
Don't be fooled, folks. He is the flotsam and jetsam of IDP.
Oh my gosh,
Brought it back around.
I'm looking at this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100% with that statement,
Yeah.
Josh.
Thank you, Adam. I'm glad you're on the flotsam and jetsam train and the schlock train. It's good to have you on board. Speaking of schlock, Steelers 10, Dolphins 16. Tua-led Dolphins get the dub on Sunday Night Football. And where else would we start this conversation besides Jaelan Phillips? Oh, baby. Meanwhile, it was a meh day all around for the Steelers IDPs and the rookie QB, but Jaelan Phillips putting up 26.6 points on 80% of snaps. Addy, I'm going to give you the solo cam so you can speak to it.
My dog.
Yo, dog.
Boy, it was nice seeing him do his thing. I mean, it was a great matchup. Anytime you get to square off against old Kenny Pickett.
Old rookie quarterback behind a patchwork
KP.
offensive line.
Old tiny hands over there. You gotta roll out your edge guys. So yeah, Jaelan Phillips came through like we hadn't seen yet this year. 26.6 points. I think that was with 1.5 sacks he had this past week.
I'll check it, Eddie.
Anyway, he was just all over the place, not just making plays in the backfield, but like running down players. Like after they ran past the line of scrimmage, like he was clearly the most motivated player on that defense. Looked by far the best, which is what we've been telling you guys all year. But yes, this is what we wanted to see. There was a little bit of concern early on in the year, but man, it's nice seeing him come through and look as good as he did. You guys watch the game?
Patience, people.
I did not.
Yes.
Boy, looked good, didn't he?
Keep up with my Tua shares.
So yeah,
He
he
did look
went.
good. He did run that boy down for.
A few times.
Yeah.
He did that a few times. He was in on some tackles, which is usually not his game,
But on like a third down, it's a hustle play. You're trying to keep them from converting. I agree. Jaelan Phillips. It's the first time I had sat down and watched a good game of him, and
He pops in the Dolphins
Yep.
games. I think that Bengals game.
Not much I trust in life. I trust that boy right there as I.
Are we at the
Unreal.
stage where you're calling NFL players boys, Bobo? Are we that old?
Talking about that boy there,
Oh,
Flotsam.
that boy. You did call another person a boy.
as well.
You did.
Flotsam, Flotsam, the
Yes.
wreckage of a ship or its cargo found floating on or washed up by the sea.
Yeah, one of them is
Flotsam.
stuff you throw over. The other is stuff that just.
Jetsam, Jetsam, unwanted material or goods that have been thrown
There you
overboard.
go. So jetsam, you throw. You jettison it off the ship. Flotsam and jetsam. You learn a little bit of everything
I
on the
still
IDP
think
show,
you
folks.
got on Wikipedia and made that real quick while we were podding.
Maybe.
I still
No,
don't trust
I
it.
wanted to call it out. So since week 3 against Buffalo, the log for Jaelan Phillips, 9 points, 14.6, 4.75, 10.2, 26.6. That's right. Arrow up, baby.
Let's talk about something bad. Is Jerome Baker jetsam?
No, he's more flotsam. What are we, 4.5 points on 92% of snaps?
Yeah.
3 tackles this week, 1 tackle the week before, 2 the week before.
There was a reason why you did not hear hardly any Jerome Baker talk this offseason. Just not a target. He was too expensive for one. He's like his ADP was like in that LB 20 to 30 range.
Boy,
no
he has
thanks.
been
This
so boom bust.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
5.25, 2, 25.8, 7.75, 20.35, 2, and 4.5. So he has 2 20-point games propping up an LB 24 standing on the season right now. No, thank you.
So, in preparation for our episode that will come out next week with the Sigmund Bloom, maybe a guy that we need to pay attention to that Sig kind of mentioned on the first pod to end, Channing Tindall. You know, kind of like what Sig was saying, if it ain't working, they're going to start changing stuff. And maybe start paying attention to Channing Tindall. I don't know. The snaps aren't really there right now, but they may start to slowly kind of start working him in. 3rd-round selection from last year. I don't know. Who knows? He looked great for Georgia. I'll tell you that.
Well, the other big news out of this game, Brandon Jones' knee injury. Mike McDaniel didn't say if the injury will keep Jones out the rest of the season. He'll miss at least 4 games because he's been placed on IR. We expect to know more by Wednesday on the extent of it. It is a knee injury, so something to pay attention to once we find out if it's more serious for Brandon Jones.
Eric Rowe, in the meantime,
Yep.
should see a boost up. But
Yeah, Boobam mentioned him in the waiver wire article, which went out at like 1:45 p.m. today,
he's
folks.
ahead
so
of everybody. On
that's
that.
right. If you want your waivers early, you got to subscribe over at the IDPshow.com.
Your boy Javon Holland is really good too, Josh. Old Tiny Hands threw a Threw a ball that was just a nice little curl route, and Holland saw it the whole way, picked it, nice little run back.
He ended the
Holland's
game.
Impressive.
Did he end the game on the interception?
Maybe he had another one. I think I saw one from earlier on in the game, but Holland is good.
He's a playmaker.
He's
not always the most consistent guy for IDP, but when he plays well, yeah, he's had 16.85, 34 points, 19 points, but also 4, 5 1/4, 3 1/4, and 6.65.
Another awful Christian Wilkins type game. You gotta love it. I love the guy just chugging along. He's not really going to get you any 35-point games, but
11 points.
I'm fine with that.
That's fine.
Christian Wilkins in DT leagues is he's so safe.
Noah May on this one, he was out, so still looking for him to get on track, do anything. He got that big payday, and I've been talking to Robert Quinn in the offseason.
I was going to say, is he going the Robert Quinn route of just checking out now that he's got those paychecks?
I don't think Quinn had any tonight either. So here we are, almost a half season through.
I got to look this up now.
Robert Quinn off of a 18-sack season in 2021.
0
through week 7.
Oh boy, yeah, he was 6.25 tonight.
So is that his game of the year?
Just about. Yeah, he had a 13.6 in week 2. Otherwise, it has been 2, 1 1/4, 2.75, 0, 1 1/4.
Wow.
Good
That
golly.
is Robert Quinn.
Jeez.
For the win, Robert Quinn, and we will put a bow on it right there, boys.
And another guy that we don't hear us talk a lot about because that's what he does. We're not going to talk about these guys that are inconsistent like that. I mean, so maybe we miss out on their 18-sack year. Okay,
I'm fine with that.
It's kind of like with the Raiders. I'm still not worried because Blake Martinez is there. Who cares? They're still going to continue to roll out Double D.
People are optimistic about Blake Martinez. Like, what are we?
The amount of people in
over,
IDP
folks.
communities that are still out there like, do we think Schobert signs anywhere? No, he doesn't.
It's over for those types, y'all.
Maybe Schobert did actually sign somewhere.
I was going to say, I think Schobert is rostered somewhere.
Jaelan Smith.
Tennessee, I believe.
Yes, he is with the Tennessee Titans.
People can't forget the good years. It's like high school. I remember back when I was young, I could throw a football clear.
That's got to be some kind of bias of like just remembering, like hindsight bias. Like I just remember all the good days we had. It's like Blake Martinez is on like his 3rd team in 3 years. It's over.
I have to admit, I legitimately watched a Todd Gurley 10-minute highlight video this weekend. So I get it.
Why do you do this to yourself?
He
Bobby?
was so good. Oh my gosh.
Was he?
He was so good
He had like 1 good season.
He had 2 awesome seasons. He was like the RB1. Y'all shut it.
That offensive line was pretty good. They had pretty creative play calling, if I remember right.
Dude, he was even good with Jeff Fisher.
At least Todd
Think about
Gurley.
what he would do with Sean McVay.
Yeah, at least Todd Gurley
Is
going
Sean
down.
McVay
Not
good?
have McVay at all.
I don't think so. Maybe 1 year.
Wait, let's Google this, Josh.
I think he had him 1 year, and then they cut him.
Yeah, after they paid him. I think they had him the first year of his contract.
Yep.
Another contract that didn't work out. Right after the Jared Goff contract that didn't work out. What do y'all have that didn't work out? Did y'all pay Kirk or did Washington pay him?
No, we.
That was the big free agency
paid him.
signing.
They
We paid him.
franchised. He was going to get franchise tagged a 3rd time, so
We've
he
given
hit
him
free
contracts.
agency. Yeah,
2 contracts, I guess.
he
now.
finessed that system very well.
Yeah, he's probably. I bet he's the most paid quarterback.
He's in the Hall of
He's gotta
Fame
be up there.
for quarterback business.
But no, to bring it back around to the opposite way you started it, offense has been a struggle for me so far this season. It's been hard in some of my redraft leagues. I have been terrible. But the IDPs, hey, I've been feeling all right. I don't know.
Feeling damn good about IDP.
Oh, yeah. In
Yeah,
general,
IDP.
or yours, or?
Yeah,
All-
I feel like
All the above.
all the best balls we've been doing, we are rolling through them, dude. I mean, it's like I noticed we're all like in the top standings on all these. So
That's
we're in.
right.
Yeah.
So
This best ball's been fun. I've enjoyed.
it's been
those.
good stuff, and we're gonna really amp that up. Hopefully, one of these big platforms.
Underdog, come talk to us. Holler at us. We'll help you get IDP set up. Do it right.
Yep.
DM Josh.
That's the turning point right there. Once we get it on some daily, some kind of true best ball platforms, or it gets on, DK or FanDuel, it's over.
It's
like
a
that
ton
will
of fun,
be the
man.
explosion.
The IDP only
We're
stuff
waiting.
was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. So I mean,
that might be my preferred format.
it's a lot of fun.
It's just
IDP only best ball?
Yeah, man. It's great because it's just like you get to draft, because the best part of fantasy, really, for me at least, is drafting. Like, I just love that.
And start sits decisions for IDP is just
It's-
sometimes it's so out of your control.
It's just maddening.
There's no way to predict it, and just taking that out of the equation with
been nice.
Yeah, the best ball.
Yeah, look more for the enjoyment side of things
Yeah.
in life.
We should have fun with fantasy.
Or with football in general. You know, not every game has to be just watching your score go up
Yeah.
or down. Just
Mainly
put
down.
the phone away.
Just put it away.
You know,
Go out,
Yeah, I'd
log
say
off, play some golf.
I'd say most people probably look pretty miserable on Sundays watching fantasy football.
Just
and-
walking
A lot of their
watching the
family
games.
members are watching them. Like they can't understand
Like,
why.
"You're all right."
Yeah,
Yeah.
why they're so upset.
why has there not been a
good?
documentary done about this yet?
I'm sure there has.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
We should do it.
Watching Adam Pace's kitchen floor.
Addy ain't pacing nothing but a golf course on Sunday.
Whoa, good one, Josh.
Right, no, it's true.
Hope you all enjoyed this episode. As we mentioned, we have a very special collaborative episode, the second installment of that series with the legend Sigmund Bloom of Football Guys coming at y'all. That'll be recorded Tuesday at lunchtime, so it'll be in your feed for your commute home on Tuesday afternoon. We're going to be talking about IDP trades, some macro questions around making trades involving IDPs, draft picks, offense, and then, Baba, we're going to do some actual trade discussion. What do you want for Micah Parsons in offense return, in a picks return, in an IDPs return? We're going to go through some guys. We're going to talk through it. We're going to help y'all figure out how to manage this because trades with IDP, it's a big stumbling block for a lot of new IDP managers. So we're going to talk it through with Sig. And the thing that I love, Addy, I love getting that man's thoughts because he sees the game. He's got a beautiful mind.
Beautiful mind, yes, sir.
So it should be a lot of fun.
I don't want to wait though for that.
Yeah.
Who are you wanting for
I'm
Micah
thinking
Parsons?
in my head right now, offensively, you get one player for Micah Parsons. It's kind of fair. Not Justin Jefferson, but
I was going to say Justin Jefferson.
nah, that's not. Jefferson managers never doing that.
But that's the thing. That's what we'll talk about is where did these IDPs like slot in the pecking
Saquon?
order?
Maybe
And running back, no. It had to be a wide receiver.
like a T. Higgins.
Would you
That's
want
interesting.
More? Would you want more?
Yeah, probably.
for
for
you want
Micah
more
Parsons?
for Parsons?
Yeah, for Parsons.
I don't know.
It's
Etienne's
just-
in a pretty primo spot now. He just come off a big week. Now James Robinson is gone. He's pretty much a solo back. I don't think
Not
the
doing
Etienne
it for
guy's
running
gonna
back.
do it.
Not doing it for running back.
So what wide receiver are you doing it for?
That's a tough question, man. I mean, where is the line?
CeeDee Lamb.
it for a wide receiver.
You're not doing it for a
I'm
wide
just saying that
receiver?
it'd be fun if you just kept going.
Yeah.
Not doing it for a tight end.
Quarterback? Nope. Got to be kicker or bust.
Kyle
Give me-
Juszczyk.
Give me 6 kickers and Kyle Juszczyk. Yeah, like where's the line? Is it Debo? Debo too much?
Feels probably about.
That I think if I was the Micah Parsons manager, I would pull the trigger if someone came offering Debo straight up for Parsons. That may be too much, but I'm shooting high, boys. It's the number one asset in all of IDP, in my opinion.
I feel like you kind of
So-
want plus though. I want a little bit of a replacement for Parsons next year. Go ahead and throw me a pick.
Oh wow! You don't want Devo?
I do want Debo.
Throw in a first.
I do want Debo, but I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like what you were saying earlier. Like, I would much rather just replace Jordan Brooks. It's kind of like what old Marcy did last year when he traded Micah Parsons, and now he's got Devin Lloyd and
So you want maybe-
Jamison Williams.
Maybe you want like a T. Higgins plus a second or something.
yeah, like
Or
maybe a little lesser wide
caliber
receiver.
plus a pick.
But let me get a Will Anderson for next year. Let me get one of these top linebackers. Because, I mean, that was Macri's move was pretty slick in hindsight. Micah Parsons is awesome, but Jameson Williams will probably be pretty good. And then Devin Lloyd. I mean, there could even be a world in the next year or two where you're like, yeah, I would do Devin Lloyd for Micah Parsons straight up.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
Lloyd
Devin
could get,
Lloyd's already top 10.
Lloyd
Yeah.
could get to that level.
Shoot, overall, well, you got to factor in edge rushers, some of those guys there. But this is a great teaser. Great little tease of what's to come next week. Sigmund Bloom, Football Guys, special collaborative episode of the IDP Blitz. Make sure you're subscribed to their feed, the Audible as well. I think we have the waiver for IDP article record right now in terms of the fastest turnaround. I think they have the fastest recap on Sundays, him and Cecil Lammy. So if you want to get, I think it goes during the late afternoon slate of games. So if you want a recap as games are happening, check out the Audible.
Hey, top 5 little tastes, dynasty rankings. Micah Parsons, number 1. Nick Bosa, number 2. Max Crosby, number 3.
Ooh, yum, yum, yum.
Myles Garrett, number 4. Devin Lloyd, number 5.
I was going to say, you said top 10. I think Devin Lloyd's already top 5. The edge rushers are what you got to sort out. Is Brian Burns? Should he be up there?
Spooky.
Yeah, spooky season. All right, boys. That's enough. We got to get y'all out of here. Starting to whistle into the microphones now. So thank you all. We got the football guys. Speaking of Sig, we've got Joey and Kyle B and Trip coming at y'all on Thursday with the Week 8 preview. So stay tuned. Stay plugged in. We're going to take care of you. We're going to get you set, get those lineups looking right. But until then, thanks y'all for listening. We'll see y'all next week.
Happy Halloween. Check for razor blades.
I'm happy, happy. I'm happy like a peach in a tree. There I am hanging around hoping there'd be someone like you to pick me. I'm happy, oh happy Lord. I'm happy like the tree in the breeze. There I am a-waving to you, hoping that you'd see